at the beginning of these plans, I was deciding on the Navy because my cousin was in the Navy, and he kind of was like, yo, come join. So I took my ASVAB through them. And then I went and talked to a Marine Corps recruiter, and then like the rest was history. I didn't feel like I had tested my man card. And so the Marine Corps helped me do that too.
Who was Mark at that point in time?
Man, I was lost, I think. I was pretty lost. I didn't really know what I wanted. I wanted chicks. My dad taught me this at a young age, right? Like where he'd be like, try this octopus, you know, whatever it is, like when I'm like 8. Like, it's like, if you don't like it, you don't gotta eat it, but try it. You go to a culture like Korea, a country like Korea, and the culture is very solidified. And it's like, you go there and you're like, you actually feel like an outsider as opposed to like what we have here. Speak their language and they're like, holy crap, like, who are you? What I realized in software engineering, it's not being an engineer that I like. It's not the title per se that I like having. I like having the title of software engineer. There's a deeper passion. It's that Frankenstein moment of getting things to work.
Oh my God, I know what you mean.
I didn't play sports, right? Like I didn't play football and stuff like that. So I did when I was a kid. I played like Pop Warner football. But like as I got older, as I grew into a man, like I didn't have that kind of like gut check of like, this is what it takes to be a man now, right? So Marine Corps was that choice.
I think I remember you recalling also that there was some violence present as well when you were a kid.
A little bit.
Yeah. Did that affect anything as you were going into the military?
I know some of these, they're great people. They went on and did their job somewhere else, but they wasted some time because they didn't plan. They didn't think ahead to say, am I gonna have to take a lot of math? Is that gonna be something that's gonna suck for me? Do I really wanna do that? Or do I wanna be more like into psychology? You know, the whole reason of me joining the Marine Corps was to change my life and to eventually have a family someday. But you should have a plan. You should plan out your goal and know at least some steps along the way. I think I was just kind of lost, and the Marine Corps gave me direction, which I didn't have, 100%. Like it gave me everything that I didn't have. Structure, direction, discipline. I'm still not the most disciplined, but more disciplined than what I had for sure. So I just wanted to go after something. And I think the Marine Corps helped me to kind of go after something that was worth it. I'm getting a lot more returns on it than I think I would have realized at that age.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Mastering Military Transition series of the Prize Podcast. Today we have Mark Griego with us, former Marine. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do a bit of an intro. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, man. Kick it off.
Yeah, so from Los Angeles originally, LA, SoCal kid. Grew up in the harbor area. It's kind of like San Pedro, Carson, Torrance, Wilmington. I was born in Torrance. Yeah, like I said, born and raised. I kind of just like grew up just like any other SoCal city kid. Got out of high school, didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to study music because I had kind of played trumpet all through like elementary, middle school, high school. I wanted to start like studying music. I wanted to be a teacher. I'm the oldest brother, so like
nice.
Yeah, I wanted to be a music teacher. I'm the oldest brother, so kind of was like, it just made sense for me to like help, you know, kind of give back in that way. And then I got into like the band scene and was like, why am I studying music in school? Like started rebelling, like the natural like rebel rock star, like who needs to study music in school? Like I don't need to do that. I just go learn. I just go YouTube it, right? So like why not? And then that wasn't really picking up. So, you know, I had told one of my best friends who's in the band with me, I kind of gave him an ultimatum. I was like, hey dude, like I'm gonna go join the military. At the beginning of these plans, I was deciding on the Navy because my cousin was in the Navy, and he kind of was like, yo, come join. So I took my ASVAB through them, and then I went and talked to a Marine Corps recruiter, and then like the rest was history. So
yeah,
told my buddy, hey man, I'm joining the military or the band is picking up, one or the other. And so now I'm here. So the band didn't pick up. But yeah, I served 5 years, 3rd Radio Battalion. Out in Hawaii was where I was stationed.
Oh man, you had a real rough.
Yeah, it was horrible. Beautiful skies, you know, getting tanned all the time. It sucked.
Yeah.
I was a Korean linguist, so I went to Monterey first. So that also sucked. It's actually the best time of my life was in Monterey. I loved it out there.
Oh, dude, Monterey's
It
beautiful.
was great.
You have Carmel by the Sea over there too.
Just everything. Like,
Yeah.
volunteered for like the Big Sur Marathon. I didn't run the Big Sur Marathon, but like volunteering for it and just like amazing conditions like these people are running in. And yeah, it was a good time. And after that, I went off to like Goodfellow Air Force Base, did a couple months there for like the SIGINT stuff, signals intelligence, and then went out to Hawaii. So
And you spend your whole time in Hawaii?
I spent all my time in Hawaii, 1U to Okinawa. And yeah, most of the time was like doing SIGINT stuff out there. I didn't really touch Korean after Monterey. But you know, every now and then, like I think I did one refresher course to like kind of keep the language up, but
Right.
it's not the same as being immersed in the language
Of course.
at DLI versus going to the fleet and just like, all right, go do collections now. So
What language?
Korean.
Oh, Korean. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you fluent in Korean?
I was at one point. I could still go and, you know, 한국말, 한국 mahasi soil, whatever. You know, I can 화장실 어디에 있어요? Where's the bathroom? Like stuff like that. I could do little conversational stuff. If I went to like Korea, I could probably like get around. And you know, language is one of those things like it comes back to you the more you're around it.
Yeah. So are you like all like excited that the K-pop stuff is hitting off right now?
I was never into K-pop, but that wasn't my thing. Like,
so you don't watch K-pop Demon Hunters?
no, bro, that's not my stuff.
No.
I mean, there were a lot of buddies of mine that really got into that stuff. Like, they really got into the culture. I got into the culture from like more of like a holistic kind of approach, like respecting elders and like how you talk to people and like stuff like that. And like, you know, that was kind of my approach. But some people, yeah, like they got really into like whatever the Korean weeboos are. Like that's what these guys were.
Sure.
Yeah,
I am sure. All right, well, let's back up. I mean, I understand, by the way, the like we're either gonna make it as a band or the military.
Oh yeah.
Who was Mark at that point in time?
When I was in the band, yeah, that time, man, I was lost. I think I was pretty lost. I didn't really know what I wanted. I wanted chicks.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I
who didn't
mean?
at
I
that
wanted,
age?
yeah, it's 19, 20. I was 21. I wanted to like meet chicks. I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be the front of the show. I wanted everybody like coming up to me and like give me a pat on the back, which I think I still desire, just in a different way, maybe a little bit more toned down. Like everyone kind of desires that too.
Everyone has a need for significance. Absolutely.
Sure. And so that's kind of like, that was like my drive, which isn't enough. I don't think, because it's not really fulfilling at the end of the day. So yeah, I think I was just kind of lost, and the Marine Corps gave me direction, which I didn't have, 100%. Like it gave me everything that I didn't have, structure, direction, discipline. I'm still not the most disciplined, but more discipline than what I had for sure. So yeah, man, I just wanted to I wanted to go after something. And I think the Marine Corps helped me to kind of go after something that was worth it. I'm getting a lot more returns on it than I think I would have realized at that age.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And I remember when we talked before, you said that you grew up in kind of neighboring like Compton, Long Beach type area.
Yep.
And this, what, 2000s? Yeah.
Late 2000s.
What was that like?
I mean, I wasn't in gangs or anything right like that, right? So like I didn't get the worst of it. But it's still around you. Like you got, you know, some Hispanic kid in LA, you got some cousin that's in a gang, you got some friend that's in a gang, you got some friends you grew up with at sandbox days that, you know, you played flag football with, baseball, whatever, they get into gangs, they get into stuff. So like, it's just around you. It's just like part of the culture there. You know, the only thing you could do is just either just avoid it or just like not be in it, really. Even then, like you can still get hit up on the streets and people asking like, where are you from? Which in LA, that doesn't mean like, where are you from? It means like, what gang are you in?
Right, yeah.
So, you know, and you just gotta like know how to navigate that. Like, oh, I don't, you know, I'm not in a gang, I don't gang bang, whatever, I don't bang. Cool. And generally speaking, if you just give people respect, they respect you back. So, but it was definitely weird because I didn't join a gang. and I knew people that were, or like I knew people that like were involved with that, I felt like I kind of lacked some sense of manliness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't feel like I had tested my man card. And so the Marine Corps helped me do that too. Right. Like I didn't like avoid fights or anything. Like I didn't avoid getting into like scuffles, but like if you didn't do that where I was from, like you weren't respected in the same kind of way.
Interesting.
Yeah. At least that's the way I felt. Now, I could be wrong. I could, you know what I mean? My approach could be wrong, but that's how I felt. So
Wow. Okay. So do you think had a play into you joining the Marine Corps?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I wanted to be tested, but I didn't want to be tested by getting into nefarious activity. Right. If that's what those people want to do, then go do that. I didn't want to do that. Right. But at the same time, I needed to figure out a way. I didn't play sports, right? Like I didn't play football and stuff like that. So I did when I was a kid. I played like Pop Warner football. But like as I got older, as I grew into a man, like I didn't have that kind of like gut check of like, this is what it takes to be a man now. Right. So Marine Corps was that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I remember you recalling also that there was some violence present as well when you were a kid.
A little bit.
Yeah. Did that affect anything as you were going into the military?
I think, yeah, I reflect on this a lot because, yeah, like when you're a kid, it's weird seeing that kind of stuff. Like my dad at the time was preparing to be like a paramedic, like an EMT, or he was trying to be. And we were at a party, like my parents worked together. It was a coworker party for his daughter. And I guess two of them went out to go grab beer. He grabbed beer at a gas station in LA. So they went to the gas station, grabbed some beer, and they came back and they're all stabbed up. And so my dad's like trying to, he's doing his EMT thing that he's kind of training for. And he's going and trying to like, plug the wounds and go do all the stuff, stop the bleeding, all that stuff. And they made all the kids go in the house. But that not before I saw the guy all stabbed up, outside. They made us go in the house. And then I look outside and I see sirens and I see my mom's other coworker like laid out on the grass, So they were trying to help him out because he was stabbed up too. And so like I was like 6 or 7, I think, when I saw this. And it was like growing up with it just kind of became more of a reality. And then there's that kind of search for understanding or seek for understanding of like what violence is, but not having to do it in that way.
Yeah.
So once again, the Marine Corps, right? Like,
yeah.
At least if I can go fight for my country and like do something like be on the good team, I feel like if I ever engaged in that, which I never did, but if I ever could engage in that, like it would be something I could learn for it. And no one's going to be like, why were you in gangs? Why did you do that kind of stuff? That's just because of how I viewed it at the time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, and I appreciate you sharing that. I do think that a lot of us, myself included, understand the need to be tested and need to prove our mettle, if you will.
Sure.
And also, I think that there's a lot of us that don't understand the violence that exists just in America and day in, day out. And I know that a lot of it's been toned down, but also what that does for us in the rest of our life that we may not necessarily think about. So you joined the Marine Corps. Did you purposely go SIGINT? Was that like you chose that, or did you just knock the ASVAB out of the park and like?
Yeah, I got like an 88 on the ASVAB, so not the highest compared to some of the guys. I knew guys at like 98s that went infantry,
Right, sure.
But I kind of chose it. I was given kind of like a 5 or 6 little grouping of MOSs to choose from. My recruiter, I was colorblind, so little dots test, like didn't get through those. They actually gave me a follow-on test called like a phalanx test or phalanx test. I forget what it's called, but there's 2 lights at MEPS, and it's top and bottom, and they say say whatever the first color is on the top and the second color. So we're going to turn you around in this like little spinny chair, and when you turn around, you say the colors, you turn back around, we'll change the colors and kind of repeat the process. So I sit in the chair, I turn around, first round I'm like, oh, easy, like white and green. You have to choose between three colors: white, green, or red.
Right. Okay.
And so I'm like, white and green, easy, cool. Turn around. By the second round, I'm like, red, maybe, yellow. I don't know. Like, yellow's not a color there, but that's what I'm seeing. So, and yeah, I failed that test. And so that was like the second test to the dots, was like to make sure, like, yeah, you can't really see the difference. Like, I could see color, which was like, people don't understand. Like, I see color fine, but it's like when colors are very close together, maybe like when they're like LED lights, whatever it does to your eyes, like they look the same for a little bit.
Well, red and green is the usual like
Right.
mix up, right?
Right.
And so do you have trouble if like the red and green when they're next to each other?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
And I
interesting.
didn't realize that as a kid too. My mom would like be like doing laundry or whatever. She'd be like, pass me that brown shirt. And I give her a green shirt,
Interesting.
you know? And she'd be like, what are you doing? Like, she thought I was like messing with her. I'm like, you said give you the brown or the green shirt, whatever. And she's like, that's not the color. Is so. And I remember as a kid doing that and just thinking like what? So yeah, then I realized like, no, there's something wrong with my eyes. So anyway, the recruiter, because of that, he, I have a limited choice when I go to the Marine Corps recruiter. He gives me this stuff. And so I actually went and Googled what these jobs were, like what is going to make the most money for me if I don't stay in the Marine Corps. I wasn't planning on not staying in the Marine Corps. I didn't know, but I was, the whole reason to me joining the Marine Corps was to change my life and to eventually have a family someday. At the time, anybody that had joined the military, they weren't doing bad, anyone that I knew, I can look up to them as role models. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go eventually want a family and want to do all this stuff. So, I kind of Googled everything. I found Linguist. I found like you could be like an interpreter or you could be like a translator, and like that made good money. And like I ended up not doing that, but at the time I was like, that seems the most practical, so let's go do that. So choosing that, I had to go take the what's it called? The D-Lab, the Defense Language Aptitude Battery, and I got like a 132 or 136 on it, which is fairly high. Not the highest. I think I met someone that got like a 150 or something on it, which is insane. But it's essentially a gibberish test. Like this, it's not a real language.
Oh, really?
If you're familiar with it.
No, I'm not.
They essentially will give you vocal speech patterns of just sounds, and your goal is to recognize the patterns in those, and then figure out like, what's the vowel in the sentence, what's the noun in the sentence. They kind of give you the legend or the key beforehand to say this is the pattern of vowels and nouns and adjectives, whatever, and then they'll play you someone going like blah 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 blah, and you have to like actually be like, okay, the noun was first and the verb was last, and
interesting.
it's a pattern recognition test, really, is what it is.
Right.
So I got a high score on that, and my recruiter called me in whenever I saw him next and was like, he started calling me 007. Because like he had never saw anybody take that test and was like, and then actually like got a high score on it or passed it or whatever. I think in the Marine Corps you need like a minimum of like 100 or 105 to even be considered to like actually be a linguist. So yeah, I was pretty intentional, which is a theme kind of throughout my whole choice is from Marine Corps to now, is like I've been pretty intentional about what it is that I kind of put myself into.
I love that actually. I don't think most people do that at all. Actually, that's very uncommon. I actually just the other day made a post on Facebook, and it was talking about us not having really a lot of the tools necessary when we get out, or being able to translate what we did in the military to what we get out. And my stepdad actually commented something to the effect of, well, the military should give us something on the beginning side of things that was like, hey, well, maybe we should build a path that extends outside of the military. But I know, for instance, when I was the OIC for ALSS in the squadron, I was given classes on like, finances and schooling outside of it. But what was wild to me was that like the gunny and the staff sergeants and stuff had no idea of any of this stuff, like any of the benefits or like how to plan outside of the military. And to me, it was kind of wild at that time. It was very eye-opening that we treat it as if that's going to be our life forever.
Yeah.
So I think
when
it's,
you're in, yeah.
yeah,
That's
right. I
weird.
mean, we get sold this idea of like once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, this is forever. I'm never going to
Yeah.
do anything other than this, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Which
people
is
get
great.
out.
It's great for the people that stay in. Like and like more power to the guys that want to stay in and do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
like someone's got to do it, and if they want to stay in and do it, cool, go stay in and do it. But you get the other guys that are like, they kind of look down on you because you're getting out or something.
Yes.
I had a gunny one time that walked up that asked me, "Hey, like, are you going to get out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting out." He's like, "Well, what do you want to get out for?" And I was like, "Well, education. I'm going to go get a degree and blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Well, you could get a degree when you stay in." Like, you're trying to get me to stay in.
Yeah.
And I'm like I could, but like, that's not really the same. Like, it's not the same
Yeah.
kind of, degree. And he's like, "You can get and to some of these guys, it's like, well, you're just getting a master's degree." And fair point. Nowadays, like, an MBA is not worth what it was 15 years ago.
No, it's not.
So, like, I kind of understand where they're coming from. But yeah, I mean, getting back to your point, yeah, like, you kind of feel when you're in, like, people, they treat it as like, yeah, so you're going to be in this with us forever. And you're like, probably not.
Yeah.
But,
But even the lifers, man, they get
Yeah.
out, like at some point, 20
It's
years, and there's still more to do.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
at this day and age, like we're going to be living longer and longer.
Yeah.
So how were you intentional? How did you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, I chose that. I get to DLI, and they're asking me about languages, and I start looking at languages. Like, and this is a personality thing, probably. I really kind of do some pre-planning before I decide to make a decision. I want to make sure the decision I'm making is going to be worth it. So we talked about guitars, whether it's choosing a guitar, like, well, what guitar works for whatever kind of music that I want to play?
Yeah.
And like, what makes more sense in that regard? I got into records a few years back and like collecting records and stuff. What record player do I want to choose? Why? Like, so I like to do some research and planning before I actually make a decision. So that's just kind of I guess always how I've been. I don't know if, no, it's always how I've been as pre-Marine Corps. Maybe the Marine Corps kind of helped emphasize that a little bit more in me, and it's more solidified and crystallized in my character now. But I make sure that the choice that I make moving forward is the right choice for me, the rightest choice, whatever the best choice is for me.
And how do you know if it's the right choice?
You don't always, sometimes it kind of comes up naturally, right? Because there's a balance of being intentional and kind of letting things flow. Also, you can't, if you're trying to be too intentional, like sometimes you try to force things, and that doesn't work out either.
Right.
So it's a balance of like either like kind of letting it kind of play out naturally and fall into your lap. It really is situational, right? If it's a guitar, right? Like, I might want to go prioritize. About, as a software engineer, another fellow software engineer, about ilities, right? So you kind of prioritize like the ilities of whatever it is that you're working on. So if you have like a project, like reliability might be your priority, or testability or maintainability might be your priority. So those three things are what you focus on. So when you're choosing a guitar or when you're choosing a career, like, what's your priority? Is it money? Is it security? Is it family? Like, not family, but like that kind of, is it culture, right? Like, what are your priorities when entering something? And then you choose based on that, and that stuff ebbs and flows. So that's why I say it's not always like perfect, but
right.
Yeah.
I would normally call those values, but I totally see what you're saying. Like, what's most important to you at any given time.
Yep.
Has there ever been a time when that didn't work out for you? Or is there a way where this?
Well, I'm divorced. Divorced Marine.
Okay.
So there's one, which I don't really carry too much shame about. It happens to a lot of us. I think the divorce rate's like close to 60%. So like at this point, like, but yeah, I'm divorced. So like that, that was a mistake. Maybe not a mistake, but because we ended on mutual terms. But it, she's a great person. But that was a choice I made that didn't work out. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's others, but that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Is there ever a time that the process doesn't, like, maybe it holds you back?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know that it's ever held me back. because I do so much. I make so many of my decisions are made with that process. So I can't say that it's held me back because um, I just, you know, the resistance I get when doing that kind of process just feels like natural. Like, okay, I just got to go figure this out, you know? I chose like, I chose the university I went to. It was kind of expensive. And at the time, the GI Bill didn't fully cover it. Like the whole yellow ribbon program at the time, like wasn't covering. So I chose to go to a community college first, right?
Right.
Hindsight, you know, maybe I wouldn't have chosen a community college. Maybe I wouldn't have chosen that school. I probably would have chose another university that maybe is just as prestigious or something, you know, especially with like the DLI background. Like that would have played into my favor. But I chose the community college first, which in the long run, I ran out of GI Bill. I had to like do voc rehab, or I had to like do like an extension. And so, yeah, maybe that didn't work out the best. It still worked out.
It still worked out.
Yeah.
Oh, I asked that question because I know people who are analyzers. I guess is what I would probably name that, as an analyzer.
Sure.
or someone who plans ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But they're, you know, I know you know people like this too, I'm sure, like people that overanalyze.
Sure.
And then it winds up paralyzing them because they're like, I need to know everything, and then I'm not taking action, you know?
Yeah, I work with a lot of them.
Do you?
You know,
Yeah.
I work with software engineers that they're aware of it too. So it's not like they're like just they ramble on. But you know,
Right.
we get into these conversations, and I have good managers and stuff that balance that out well. Like, all right, let's get back on point, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's some people are, yeah, they overanalyze. They just like, you know, software engineers, they just like they want to uncover every unturned stone, and you're like, can we just decide on whatever the plan of action
Yeah.
is now? So that's, you know, I think the like the practical rational like brain in me kind of like does put that in check a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't tend to overanalyze, but yes, some people can get paralyzed for sure. To your point.
Just to stick with it for another second here.
Sure.
I'm curious if there was ever a time in your life where you did maybe go too far in that direction, and you have learned to find more of a balance between like action, 70%, you know, knowledge, as opposed to like, I need to know everything, and it just doesn't work out because I'm maybe paralyzed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably times where I haven't pulled the trigger on some things because, or like actually like gone and purchased the thing, or haven't gone and moved forward with whatever it is because I'm like, I've analyzed it, and I don't feel like I understand it enough to like actually move forward with the decision. It's pretty vague, but like there's definitely been times like that where I'm like, oh, I want to do this thing. All right, well, like, what about this? And I start doing the pre-planning, and then I never really make the decision. Like I was kind of saying, like I never really go and say, all right, let's just go do it. You know, and more power to the people that are just like, yes, man, like Jim Carrey, yes, man, like, yeah, let's just go.
Oh, what a great movie.
Let's go skydiving. Like, let's just do it, you know? But I've never like, I most of my time, I think I put myself in check, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I've definitely overanalyzed to like not do something, to pull back from doing something, or delayed the decision because I didn't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I appreciate it, and thanks for sticking with it.
Sure.
At the point I'm trying to get at here is like, I think that that's cool. Like, I love that you have that sort of I don't know, you're predisposed to that sort of like a way of acting or thinking. I know people all across the spectrum, and I think it's something that the military does a good job of, if we recognize it and go into it, is acting without full context.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you get the 80%, the 80% is good enough, now go execute.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that that's something that's been, like, we were trained into that a bit, right? So I was curious to know if maybe the military helped refine that a little bit for you or not. And also, if you were to be like talking to someone who, wherever they are in their career, maybe it is early, maybe it isn't, like how one could go about developing that sort of a mindset where like, I will plan ahead, I will be intentional, but not so much so that it paralyzes me.
Right.
Yeah. Don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the military has helped me to like that military training definitely helped to like overcome, I guess you would say, instead of them being obstructions, more obstacles.
Yeah.
Right. However varying in difficulty those obstacles are, I've been able to overcome all the ones that have been in my way. And really, you just treat them as obstacles. You just treat it as like, okay, there's this wall, so now how do I get through this? And being resourceful, because you don't have all the context, right? Especially in software engineering, you don't get all the context all the time. There's some code left over from 2-3 years ago that the person doesn't work here anymore, and you're like, does anyone know how this worked? No? Okay, I guess I got to figure out what's going on here and start, kind of pulling apart all the tangled wires and figuring out why it was designed this way. And sometimes it's not that it was designed bad. It was just like, why did they do it this way? Because if I knew why they did it this way, I can traverse it better. But I have no idea why they're doing it. So, yeah, lack of context and just understanding like the challenge of having to break through whatever that obstacle is in front of you. That's something that for sure the military has helped me kind of navigate, understand, because you asked earlier, like who was Mark before the military, who was Mark in the band days? Like, yeah, I was giving up easy, quitting easy, or not finishing the job or whatever because that's too hard, or no, that's not my flavor today. It might be my flavor Monday, but I don't know that. In the moment, it's Wednesday, and we're not at next Monday yet, and that's not my flavor, so I'm not going to do that. Whereas, you kind of learn more to like kind of complete whatever's in front of you when you're in the military. Those skills definitely transfer.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll circle back on that when we get back into like transitioning out at some point. But so you go into linguistics or SIGINT, right?
A little both, but yeah, mostly SIGINT. Yeah.
And what was like your time in the military like?
It was good, man. I mean, I didn't really. My unit's morale, I think, was pretty low.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of those people, the attrition rate at those types of units are pretty low. Maybe because there's geniuses there, dude. We're all pretty smart. So like we're probably like I don't want to stick around and do this. I can go make more money in the civilian sector as a civilian counterpart doing what I do here, maybe even doing more because there's less red tape than the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps has its red tape for a reason, but I can go make more money and do more stuff, But for the most part, my time was great. I mean, I got all of the stuff out of the military that I wanted to get out of it, out of the Marine Corps specifically. So, like, there's not really any complaints in the grand scheme of things. I went to super cool school at DLI. I think the worst time I spent was at Goodfellow, but I was only there for like 3 or 4 months. That's because Goodfellow's in San Angelo. It's like, I call it the butthole of Texas.
Yes,
like,
the butthole of Texas.
It's just not fun. But, you go to Hawaii. Like, when I was in Hawaii, like the first like 2-3 months, I was just like fangirling. Like, dude, look at this, like green and like everywhere. And it's just like sunny and like, this is insane. Like, I'm in Hawaii. Like, and I'm a big reggae head. So like playing reggae in Hawaii, I felt at home.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I think I took the beach and stuff for granted because I'm from Southern California, so we got beaches everywhere. So you got guys from the Midwest.
Very different beach. It's a very different
very
beach.
different. Water's clear.
And it's warm.
And it's warm. Wild stuff. Even in Southern California, that water's cold. But
no, it's freezing.
You got guys from the Midwest that like come out and they're like, I want to go to the beach every day. And you're like, and I'm like, I mean, you got to get sand everywhere. It's like, I grew up near the beach, dude. Like, beach is cool, but I'm not like super like hype about it, at least at that time. But overall, yeah, the experience is great. I did get to go to Korea a little bit and use the language when I was on the MEU. They flew us off the MEU to land at like Camp Mujuk, which is like a little tiny small base in Korea, Marine Corps base. I think it's our base. I don't know if it's the ROK Marines or like US Marines, but we land there and they just like, we're sleeping in cans. And then we get out of the cans. We take a train across the peninsula to actually one of our detachments from Hawaii, from 3rd Radio. And they're there in the skiff and we're working in a skiff. But at the time we didn't have like all of our like we had our clearances, but we didn't have like our account set up for like the TS stuff, the TS networks and whatever. So we couldn't really work. So we were just sitting next to them. So our sergeant would be like, all right, it's 11:30, let's cut. And we just like go hit the town in Korea for like 4 or 5 days while we were there. Because we couldn't really work, and like we were kind of just under his supervision. So so I got to go there, I got to walk around and talk to people in Korean and trip Koreans out, and Koreans are, it's one thing to see an American like in Korea, it's another thing for them to like see Americans speaking their language. They just take so much pride in it. We take it for granted here in the US for sure, to see so many different people, you know, this homogenous culture of all these different people walking, even speaking different languages, and you know, dressing different and different religions. And then you go to a culture like Korea, a country like Korea, and the culture is very solidified. And it's like, you go there and you're like, you actually feel like an outsider as opposed to like what we have here.
Right.
And you speak their language, and
culture's very different.
You speak their language and they're like, holy crap. Like, who are you? Like, this is cool. Like their faces light up. It was a cool experience. So I think that was very fulfilling, because it felt like I learned Korean for a reason. Even though I just talked to shop owners, it still felt like I learned it for a reason.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of my contract is when I was like, all right, I think I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I think I'm kind of done with this.
What flipped that switch?
I mean, a lot of things. A lot of things did. I think everyone has their moment, and for me, it was like kind of like a gut punch moment, more like a nut kick moment. Like, it wasn't a gut punch. It was harder than that. It was like, we got back from deployment, and I was like, I want to do this. And someone else was like, yeah, I want to do this. And they swapped us. And they're like, no, you're doing this, you're doing this. And we were both like, but we said we wanted to. Yeah, well, you know, I heard a lot of politics came into it. Well, I heard a lot about you. I haven't really heard about you. And I'm like, so that's it? You haven't heard about me? So now just throw everything that we want out the window because you haven't heard? All right, whatever. Good to go, top. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't anything personal, because like, I knew that Master Sergeant, he was a super cool dude, but it was just like a decision that he made that I was like, that sucks. And luckily, I had a buddy of mine that was going on another deployment, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna go on this deployment. They asked me to go on this deployment. I was supposed to be a cadre instructor, so now you're gonna be the cadre instructor because I'm leading. So I had a buddy that like looked out for me, and he actually came up and he was a good friend of mine, but he actually came up to me and was like, hey, like, I heard what happened about blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, he said it looked like you got kicked in the nuts. And I was like, I did get kicked in the nuts, pretty much. Like, you know, I want to be a team leader. But I ended up being a cadre instructor, going back to the teaching, the whole giving back thing. And I was like, let's do that. That sounds like fun. So for the rest of my time at battalion, I essentially was just a cadre instructor, teaching Marines how to collect and how to use the gear and stuff like that. Because I was pretty hands-on and techie, and I learned pretty quick with that. So,
well, okay, so that's really interesting, because you had said before you went into the military, you thought about being a teacher. So in some way, you're fulfilling this idea or desire. That's pretty cool. Like, did it kind of bring that full circle?
It definitely did. I felt like a natural up there, just showing people how to do stuff. It didn't feel like work. It just felt like, yo, this is how you do the thing, and like, here's all the information that I like absorbed. So now let me just like not like fire hose blast you, but like, let me show you now, like, this. And when they have questions, it just like, let me get you that answer, right?
No, that's really cool. So, all right, at that point, were you like, I'm already out, like I've already said I'm going to be out, and I'm just writing out the rest of my contract? Like, how did that work?
Pretty much. I mean, that was it. Like, and it was like planning to get out. Like, what do I do to get out now? And like, I knew what I liked to do. I knew kind of like what I already was kind of good at. And so I was like, I have a small selection of things that I can get into. And so I'm going to see which one kind of gives me has some more traction under it. And so one of them was music. Right before I got out, I bought like a guitar and started getting into like music production, audio production, recording, and like trying to understand that. And then the other one was like video games, and when I was in high school, into like kind of when I was doing the music thing before the Marine Corps, I played a lot of video games, and like I was doing it competitively. And so this was before people were getting paid, like we were talking about this, like millions of dollars to play a video game.
Yeah.
It was like $25,000 or something if you won a tournament, and
Yeah.
that was like, whoa, like 25K like to win a tournament. And now it's like insane. But that was like something that I enjoyed doing. It was fun. And then streaming became a thing while I was in the Marine Corps. Like it blew up. And so I was like, maybe I could do that. And I did try that for a little bit, but nothing really stuck and gained traction. And I understood the sacrifices that were going to have to happen to do that kind of stuff, like having no money for a while until you do.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to do that. Even though the grind was still there for studying engineering, it just seemed more fulfilling and more worthwhile to go and do that. And I found a passion in that too. So, deciding, between those things, I didn't choose engineering at first. I chose I was like tech. Like I'll go into tech because I'm working in SIGINT, so it's kind of a natural transition. So it was music, video games, or like, I guess you'd call it corporate, but it was like those three avenues were my kind of on my radar when I got out.
Thank you for the segue, actually.
Yeah.
You were saying that you have the tendency to be very intentional and to do your research ahead of time. Walk me through that decision while you're navigating transitioning out of the military. Like how did you choose those three options? How did you settle on the one that you ultimately settled on? And then how did you pursue it?
Yeah, it's a combination of the intentional planning and also kind of like where life takes you. So like I was married, and so she was from out here in Pennsylvania. So like that's how an LA kid ends up in Pennsylvania.
And you're still here.
And I'm still here. Yeah. But so it's a combination of life, kind of just like letting life happen the way it happens, and also like then taking like you take what you got, right? Like that's the Marine Corps, that's the military, right? You adapt to whatever it is you got in front of you. Okay, this is where I am now. So what school am I going to? What am I doing? How am I doing it? Because the original plan was to go to like school, and like my dream school was Southern Cal, USC, and they had like an audio production degree. I was like, that's cool, like it kind of lines up. But then we ended up not doing that, and we moved out here, and so now what? Like there's not really that same kind of like LA Hollywood music vibe here. Like I could try to do it, but would have been way easier out there probably to make some connections than out here. There's still a little scene here, but it's not the same. So it's like, well, what do I do? So I just played the cards that were dealt to me, and then figured it out from there, and then was intentional about what was dealt to me here. So the planning process, like to ultimately decide on tech, while I was going to school, I was playing video games, trying to stream at the same time. So I kind of did both things at the same time. Music kind of fell off as an ultimate goal, because I ran into the same issues that I had before the Marine Corps, which was like, it's really hard to keep a team together. You take that for granted in the military because you're kind of forced to keep the team together. Sometimes you don't want to be with the team.
Well,
you know what I mean? But like you have to, and you learn how to deal with it. But like you take for granted the fact that you can wake up, walk outside, knock on your buddy's door and be like, let's go grab chow. And they're like, cool. There's no questions. Like you have your buddy, he's going to go grab chow with you. That's it. There was no like, like, yeah, I'll see what's up. Most of the time it's like, yeah, let's grab chow. It's time to eat chow. Like there's no friction there. Whereas trying to do the band thing, it's like you have to get so many other parts and people together. So that's kind of why that fell off, is because that friction was like, I have to rely on too many people that don't have that same passion or whatever. So let me just try to do the streaming thing. Let me try to do the tech thing. Let me see how that plays out. And I just kind of stuck with the degree thing. I every semester I looked to see what classes am I taking, so I knew what I was getting myself into. And and that was it. I kind of put that 3 to 5 year plan of like I know I want to be here when I'm done. I want my degree. I want to be a software engineer. So like, let's go with that. Video games kind of stuck. They kind of hung around. I did the streaming thing on the side, like while I was in school, because I had time. But then I was like, no, I think I'll just do this music thing or not music thing, sorry, the engineering thing, because it just was more fulfilling in the end than video games. Video games just got annoying. It's just like, you can't keep up. There's like all these games now, and you're just like, I sound like a boomer at 35, but like there's just all this stuff now that I'm like, how do I, like, let's play that game, I guess. Like now I find myself playing like the greatest hits. Like I'll hop back on like Assassin's Creed and like the old stuff now. It's just not the same.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I relate to my kid. My kid's 12, and it's like, for me, when I think of video games back in the day, I had what, like 6?
Mm-hmm.
I had 6 games, and they were on the cartridges.
Yeah.
And like, you play it until you got bored with it, and then it was like, well, I guess I'm gonna go outside.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'm gonna go on Roblox, and just in Roblox in general, there's hundreds of games, and there's no end, and it's like,
doesn't stop, man.
It's just such a different way. It's just such a different way of being.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool though that you picked 3 things that you were interested in, and you didn't say no to any of them.
Right.
It almost seems like your research was actually doing them and then kind of weeding them out as you were doing them.
Yeah.
Is that accurate to say?
It's a buffet, man. Life's a buffet. I don't know if that's a quote from someone. I think it is, right? But it's like, my dad taught me this at a young age, right? Like where he'd be like, try this octopus, whatever it is. Like when I'm like 8, like he's like, if you don't like it, you don't got to eat it, but try it. Okay. And so like the same kind of approach with these like career field or career paths, right? Like, I don't know. I think I like those. Those sound good to me. So let me go see how that plays out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So there's that can get paralyzing at some point if you just keep trying stuff, but you have to choose and make a decision at some point. It goes back to the overanalysis. That could be like a kind of a more abstracted version of like that over analysis kind of thing, where you just kind of keep trying things until you find something. Like, but yeah, I was, I wanted to go try that out and see if it worked out.
Well, I think there's a balance. There's always a balance of, some people are very narrow and I just want to do one thing. And then there is the opposite perspective. I had a dude named Josh Zabler on this episode at one point where he was like, I literally had like 9 different majors, and I was like jumping around from major to major to major to major. And at some point I was like 5 or 6 years in college, and they were like, all right, you have to graduate.
Yeah.
There's a balance to be had, I think. And, it's cool to hear what you're saying, that you picked 3, because I think 3 is a good number.
Yeah.
I think us humans tend to go 1, 2, 3, many, right? And the hard part is like me, for instance, I find a lot of things interesting.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like ooh, that's cool. I'll go and do it. But if I'm not careful, I'll have the tendency to really split my focus. And now all of a sudden I'm not doing anything well. I'm like the proverbial jack of all trades, master of none.
Right. And
you seem to have done a really good job of picking like just 3 things. I'm going to go explore these 3 things and we'll narrow them down from there. How do you balance that? How do you think about that?
How do I think about it? Well, we'll start, the 3 things I think were kind of natural for me. So I didn't just narrow it down to 3 things. That just happened to be 3 things for me.
But these were things that you enjoyed before the military too, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wasn't like a super techie kind of guy, but I messed around on the computer. You know what I mean? Like I did that, I had some experience doing like Photoshop and whatever, and Illustrator when I was in high school. I messed around with that stuff. So like I kind of knew how to work a computer. The military kind of added to that. But before the military, yeah, video games and music. Like those are the 2 things. So you can, I was kind of just able to naturally fall into it. The third thing being tech was kind of that enigma at the time of like, what does that mean? Does it mean like I go into networking? Does it mean I go into satellite communication? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? So that was kind of the enigma kind of free agent. Like, what does this look like over here? I know what these two paths look like. This one is kind of like, and that's what I ended up choosing. Funny
And
enough.
why? What was it that you were just like, that's the one?
Challenge. Yeah, challenge that I was able to digest. Like I said, I didn't want to work with people that didn't want to work, or that didn't want to put in the work for like the band stuff. Because I'm like intentional. I'm gonna start this band. I want to grow. I want to go do stuff. Like we don't have to be the Rolling Stones, but like I want to tour. I want to play shows. I want to go do that stuff. I want to like play music.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, people want to do that. They don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what
you know what I mean? Like there's a kind of like a deeper layers to that. And you see that by their actions, you know, the 30 days or the month that I gave my buddy to be like, let's get a practice in. We got not one practice in a month.
Yeah.
How are you not practice in 1 month?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's nothing on him, you know, but that's just what it takes to be in a band. You have
100%.
to deal with that kind of crap. And so like, didn't want to digest that challenge. The video game thing, like, it turned into not a challenge. I'm sitting here playing video games. That's not a challenge. Like, even playing competitively, that's another thing. Playing competitively, having to find teammates that you can build a team with to play competitively, like, not digestible challenge to get people to put in the time and effort to like understand the game, understand the mechanics. It's like playing chess with teammates or whatever. They don't want to put in that time. Okay, I don't want to do that. So can I stream? Yeah, I can stream, but now there's no challenge. So I think what ultimately came up was some type of challenge again, kind of like the military, like kind of like the Marine Corps for me, was like, if I can get through this and I can like work through these hard problems, I will feel better about myself knowing that I worked through these hard problems and succeeded. And so there was more fulfillment in that, I think. Yeah.
So I really like the quote, and I can't remember who said it. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but of, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse.
Right. Yep.
And I've seen plenty of people operate on the excuse side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I think the military, especially the Marine Corps, and I don't know that I can intelligently speak to the other branches on this one, but there are no excuses. There's no excuses. You're either going to do it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I think that this is something that a lot of us can really leverage coming out of the military, because it just beat into you, you know? And while it sucked at the time,
yeah, man,
the things that you will get out of it, the fruit that you will reap on the backside because you did not give up, or you were not willing to accept an excuse, it may hurt at the time being, but man, the fruit is worth it, in my opinion. I want to ask something, because we kind of glossed over it in the beginning, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on this one. So you had said that one of the reasons you joined the Marine Corps was to kind of test your mettle, to prove that you're a man, like step up, right? And I think that that's very common. What did that for you?
What did that for me?
Did you ever scratch that itch?
Yeah, I think it built confidence in me. I pushed myself physically. Like, I wasn't like a track star, football star, soccer stud, crazy in shape. And so physically I was able to push myself. Boot camp was physically hard for me. For some guys it's not. It's a breeze. For me it was, because I just like, my height now, I'm like 5'11" at like 130 pounds, soaking wet. I was a twig. I had no muscle on me. You know what I mean? So I weighed in at MEPS. On my first time at MEPS, I weighed in at 131. By the time I left, I put on 10 pounds because I was working out. And so 140 when I went to boot camp. But I left boot camp 20 pounds heavier than that at 165. So like even more muscle, and I was eating good. So like I pushed myself physically in boot camp. That crucible was not easy for me. Some guys it was. I couldn't swim very well. Still not the best swimmer. You know what I mean? I can like survive, but I didn't know how to swim before I joined the Marine Corps. Before I joined the Marine Corps, I went to the YMCA and signed up for lessons and learned how to swim.
Yeah.
Then I went and joined the Marine Corps, which is not the same.
Yeah, I love that.
Not the same, but that was the first time I almost actually, like at 21 years old, like got emotional in like a happy way was when I jumped into that pool, came out, sat next to everyone that passed and was like, I just passed the Marine Corps swim qual legitimately. Like, it was a huge moment for me. Like, no one else knew that but me. So like, and then pushing back, past all the other physical stuff. So I think that just in myself was enough to build some confidence. I didn't have to get violent. I didn't have to do all that other stuff. Yeah, you get in barracks brawls and scuffles or whatever. Like, that happens. Like, we're dudes. And I got in that stuff a little bit when I was a kid too, but that wasn't enough for me to really test, like, am I man enough, right? The man enough thing came from like just understanding, for some guys, it's like, I got to be a SEAL. That's how I know I'm man enough. For me, I don't think I was that extreme. It was more like, can I just get the job done? Like, can I just do what I said I was going to do, be reliable, right? Or have some integrity? Like, those were like values that I didn't learn as a kid. I didn't learn understanding like accountability and integrity and reliability. I just learned like from everybody around me, like, oh yeah, we'll do it Sunday. And then you're like, hey bro, it's Sunday. Like, oh yeah, I can't because, and it's just like, why not? Like, I didn't realize how much that stuff irritated me. The Marine Corps didn't make it better.
Yeah, right.
Yep. But I didn't realize how much that stuff irritated me until I joined the Marine Corps, and that's kind of why I resonated. I think with a lot of it was because people just, when they say they're going to do something, they do it. And when you say, "Hey, I'm gonna go climb that mountain," we're climbing the mountain.
Right.
So, and it's gonna suck, and we don't have enough water and food, but we said we're gonna climb it. So let's go climb the thing.
Right.
It's just stuff like that.
Well, that, by the way, is a freaking awesome message. Just saying, because I think what's beautiful about what you just illustrated is it wasn't a measure against anything external. And that is something I see people do so often, is that they need to justify themselves, or they need to, rationalize their measuring stick is out there. And while I think that having maybe an inspiration can be helpful and useful, even if it comes from out there, but the measuring stick should come from within here.
Right.
And I know exactly what you mean, by the way, when you say the swimming thing, and it wasn't about what anyone else said, it was about you, because we just quoted this, right? You found a way. You didn't give an excuse. You found a way, and you said, screw it, I'm going to put in the work, and I'm going to go find a way, and it doesn't matter what anyone else can do. I just overcame something that I was having trouble with. Full stop.
Yeah.
I think that is really, truly where fulfillment actually comes from.
Yeah.
Where purpose actually comes from. Because you were clear on your values, and you're still clear on your values. Clearly, you're talking about integrity, honesty, whatever, resourcefulness. That, in my opinion, is what really, really helps when it comes to overcoming anxiety or overcoming, I don't know, a lot of the things that plague us when we get out, because
Depression.
Yeah, dude.
There's some like separation anxiety almost. Like, I want to get back now. A lot of guys go back in.
A lot of guys go back in, and a lot of it is because we're often externally validating. We're looking externally for something to prove who we are, when I think the real work is finding it in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that was awesome. Powerful. Thank you. So you got into software engineering. I want to know, like, were there any benefits that you used, any resources that you used to help you get there?
Yeah, GI Bill, obviously, Yellow Ribbon. Those are like the first two. I did Voc Rehab. I didn't get Voc Rehab right when I got out. I had to like put some work in, I went through your kind of cliche, typical, like, that's not service related battle. So I had to go to the VA and do all this stuff. And I ended up getting a rating, and so that was enough to give me some Voc Rehab to kind of finish out my degree. So that was all the benefits that I used. I mean, it's all the same that's available to most veterans that I know that use it, and they're out there doing the thing. So,
yeah. And how did you discover those? Was it just?
I mean, my own research. There's definitely people you can reach out to if you don't know where to look. Just go to a VA clinic. Just Google, maps. VA clinic and go ask, or call and ask, and they're going to give you the tool, the information. Yeah, we talked about this. This is what you're doing with Prize, all these different nonprofits out there. Like, there's so many of them out there. Even if they're not in the vein of what it is you're doing, they're going to give you some information. They're trying to help you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Just like, hey, I don't really know about where to talk to so-and-so about my GI Bill. Like, can you give me a number or someone that they're going to know someone that specializes in like the GI Bill stuff. So if you don't know how to navigate that, someone will be there. Like, there's a lot of people trying to help veterans out, so usually it's other veterans, but not always.
Not always. Yeah. I've been pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you did 4 years, just engineering degree? Did you bounce around?
It was about 5. I only bounced and pivoted once. The first thing I started studying technically was computer networking, but that was only a semester. Then I was like, no, I want to be a software engineer. So I just went straight into computer science. I got the associates first, and I transferred in to the university and got my computer engineering degree. So that was kind of, that wasn't really my choice per se, although this is kind of what I was saying, like the balance of like kind of playing with what cards are dealt to you. The representative at the school for the veterans kind of was like, yeah, you can get into the engineering program, and it was computer engineering, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just go and do that, kind of thing, right? Not realizing that computer science, computer engineering are different. They're not like way different, but they're different enough to where you're like, this is a little harder than computer science. There's nothing against computer science grads. There's plenty of computer science grads and boot campers like yourself that go on and have great careers. Yeah. So it's nothing against that. But the path was a little bit more of a challenge than like your traditional computer science degree versus engineering, which I think in the end paid off because, now I'm a better engineer for it.
Absolutely.
So,
well, like I told you, man, like I thought the boot camp was great in helping me learn how to code. Right. It did not teach me how to be an engineer.
Right.
That was a whole different discipline that I had to figure out on my own.
Right.
How did you get your first job then?
I actually got this kind of like a cold outreach. One of our C-suite guys now reached out to me at the time when the company was still small, and I was just looking for an internship. So I had an internship already doing software developer work at another company. It was a little more corporate, that company. It was like an insurance company. And my first manager there was a 20-year software engineer. She was amazing. She was great. I could talk code with her. I could chat, but she retired. And so who they replaced her with was more of like this HR kind of like, flavor of a real manager. Like, and she wasn't just my manager. She was a manager of like other people. And maybe she had some experience like kind of with tech at some point, but she didn't have the same chops as my previous manager. And that's where it started to feel like not genuine, the communication and stuff. And so I get reached out to while I'm doing this internship by ZeroWise, and they asked me, hey man, like, we're a bunch of vets here. You kind of fit the mold of like what we want. You're a Marine vet and you're starting engineering, and maybe you could talk to our engineering team and see where things go. Cool, let's do it. So like, I'm not gonna say no to that. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I was taught by a mentor, like never say no to an interview. Like,
yes,
never say no to an interview. Like, if someone offers you something, say yes. Even if you don't end up taking it, like, that's fine, because you get the interviewing experience, you get those jitters out if you're not really familiar with it, or you get the opportunity potentially, and maybe it's something that lines up to you. If you say no, you just cut out all of your potential opportunity that could have been, that you would have you will never know. So go talk to them, and it just kind of like the Marine Corps. When I first signed up for the Marine Corps, like it just like vibed. I was like, this is what this culture's cool. Like, everyone's cool here. It was still a small company. It was like 40 people, I think, when I joined. When I started interning.
What are they now?
Now we're like 200.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have grown a lot.
We're growing a lot. And so now it actually feels like a company. Before it felt like kind of like that we had our office, but like it felt more like everyone was like your buddy. And now it's like your buddies that were your buddies are like, they're still your buddies if you go out and have a beer every now and again. But like now you try to talk to them, they're busy. And you're like, all right, I got to like leave them alone. I got to let them do their job. But yeah, I got lucky. But there are tons of startups that look for veterans that are started by veterans. There are tons of startups that are like willing to hire you just because like you were also stationed in Oki or something, right? If you have the skills and you show them you're willing to put in the work, like they're gonna just be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's figure something out here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that you said that too. One of the things that we've said on this podcast a few times that I very deeply believe is showing that you will do the job. And a lot of times that is more important than even if you can do the job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like just do a project, like go start a project and just show that you're willing to put in the work and learn something.
Right.
It's so, so important.
Right.
And yeah, it sounds like you were in the right place at the right time.
I was, yes. I mean, it found me like I was pretty much Philly. Like I was in Philly at the right time, and that's what's kind of kept me. Even though most of our company is remote, it's kept me here, Zero-wise. So yeah.
So if you had like a piece of advice that you would maybe give someone who's transitioning out, and let's just back this up a little bit, and like they don't know what to do, like what would you say to them?
Don't know what to do in regards to like what, like a career or like their next step or
Yes.
yeah, their next step. You don't have to be the overanalyzing like weirdo like I am and like plan everything. Like you don't have to do that, but you should have a plan. You should plan out your goal and know at least some steps along the way. So that way you kind of remove, you manage your expectations that way. You kind of remove some of the opaque obstacles that might be out there, and you at least are prepared. Like, I know this is going to come up. It's going to suck when it comes up, but I'll get to that when I get there. As opposed to like being slapped in the face with it, had no idea. And now you're like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Like I mean, you can prepare to be punched in the face. It's still going to suck when you get punched in the face, but like, at least you knew it was coming, I think, right? But yeah, I mean, plan a little bit. I've met so many people that maybe in the computer science realm or engineering realm, I've met, it's like, it's more than a few, like where they get kind of midway through a couple semesters, they're using GI Bill, by the way, they're utilizing their benefits, and those are all that's all getting thrown away that you're not getting back because in the middle of your engineering or computer science or, finance statistics degree, you're like, that's actually a lot of math. It's like, yeah, dude, what did you think you were getting yourself into? You know what I mean? Like, like, it's an engineering degree. It's a lot of math. Like, did you not, so, and it's not to say that they failed. Like, they went on and had their careers. I know some of these, they're great people. They went on and did their job somewhere else, but they wasted some time because they didn't plan. They didn't think ahead to say, am I going to have to take a lot of math? Is that going to be something that's going to suck for me? Do I really want to do that? Or do I want to be more into psychology? Do I want to help people? Do I want to be a nurse? Like, really, like, just think about, like, you brought up values. Think about what is important to you and take some time to understand the steps. And if it doesn't align with whatever it is that's important to you, then go somewhere else. Yeah.
So we have a worksheet actually that I'll drop into a link to in the show notes that is to help you figure out some things that you value specifically for this this purpose here. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And how, let's make this actionable, right? Like, I'm about to start a degree. How do I figure out like what that's going to entail or what I'm going to be doing in that degree?
Yeah, I mean, I think you choose your degree based on what you want to be after the degree, not during the degree. I know plenty of psychology majors that are software engineers now. I know plenty of software engineers that are in business and finance now because they, you know what I mean? So choose what's after the degree, don't choose the degree. That's kind of it's a very low resolution way of thinking. Just like, I want this degree. Like that's 17, 18-year-old coming out of high school, going to college for the first time. Like, yeah, I'm studying mass comms, or no offense to the mass comms majors, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm studying this degree, but you have no idea what you're going to do when you get out. of college and you have that degree. If you do, great. Then, and that's what you want to do. You want to do mass comms. You know you're going to do that. Then great. But if you don't, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing with your time? You're wasting your own time and you don't even realize it. So know what you want to do after. That's how you choose your degree. If you want to be in business and finance, go get your MBA, or go study business. Maybe don't get your MBA. Maybe wait till you're in business and have a company pay for it or something. But do that. So I knew I wanted to be a software engineer. So that's why I chose engineering. That's why I chose computer science and computer engineering. That's how you choose your degree for sure. And make sure that whatever it is that you want to do kind of strikes a chord below that external thing. So like what I realized in software engineering, it's not being an engineer that I like. It's not the title per se that I like having. I like having the title of software engineer. There's a deeper passion. It's that Frankenstein moment of getting things to work.
Oh my God, I know what you mean.
Dude, like that's a dopamine fix that like every engineer, like real engineer knows, like, dude, it works. It's a lie. It's like, that's what it is. I could be, and there's some autonomy there, that the freedom that I have to do that also, right? Like I really enjoyed I bartended for a little bit. I really enjoyed being a bartender. Kind of the same thing. Like I made the drink and they're satisfied and this is my bar right now. And like I'm owning everything. Engineering is kind of that, for me, is that same way. So make sure whatever it is you're doing strikes that chord for you underneath.
Yeah, values.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Hey, what's your favorite book?
Ooh, I don't really have a lot of favorites in general because I like so much stuff. My favorite book, I'll tell you one that I think has been the most helpful, and I haven't even read all of it. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That one,
great.
Some of that stuff was already inherent to me that I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Like remembering someone's name.
I know.
Crazy how far that goes.
Oh, to play on that, how many of us tell ourselves constantly, oh, I'm bad with names? I hear this all the time. Oh, I'm bad with names. I'm bad with names. If you keep telling yourself you're bad with names, I promise you're going to be bad with names.
Yep.
How about this? I'm working on getting better at names.
Yeah.
And here's a little tip on that one, right? Just repeat it. Hey, what's your name? Oh, Mark? Mark. Hey, Mark, great. I just said it 3 times.
Yeah.
Great to meet you.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the conversation, say it again.
Yep.
It's not, you don't have to remain bad at names.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to remain bad at names. A lot of it, and there's the other part of that book too, is being intentional with what it is. Like there's so many times where you could tell people aren't listening to you. You can tell people aren't really paying attention.
Yeah,
we all do it. I zone.
We all do.
I zone out a little bit too. But you have to be intentional with it. Don't go in just to say, what's your name? My name's so-and-so, your name's so-and-so. Okay, so like, don't be so robotic about it. Really be intentional. So that way it's more fluid. Really, like I keep saying intentional, but it's kind of the theme of this, right? Like really like have some purpose behind what it is that you're doing and do it for a reason. Don't just do it because someone said, go remember names. What's your name? Oh, my cousin's name, and now that might help. My cousin's name is so-and-so. That's crazy. Do you also like? And then get to know them, right? You have to really try to like. You don't have to be their best friend. You don't have to grow your circle. You can have your private circle, but like, you need to treat interactions the same way that you treat kind of your intimate interactions. Like, you care about what your brother, sister, mom, spouse. You care about what they say, so care about whatever it is that an individual is talking to you about in that moment, at least for that moment, right? So
yeah, it's the listening to understand versus listening to respond, and really caring. Yeah, that book. It's funny. I read that book when I was at OCS.
Okay.
And I remember being made fun of because the name of the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a book that you just read, like look at the cover and you're like, oh, this looks like it's going to be It is a fantastic book. There's a reason why it's one of the best, self-improvement books written of all time. And it was like written back in the 20s.
Yep.
It's a fantastic book.
It's a great book. And it's one of those books too that's funny because it'll lead you down like a YouTube rabbit hole of like dark psychology. And you're like, you don't got to do all that, but just read the book.
What about a podcast? Your favorite podcast?
Prize Podcast, dude. Prize Podcast is the best because it's the first one that I'm on. No, I like I said, there's so many of them, right? I like I like so many of them. I like the Diary of a CEO.
Oh, me
That's a
too.
great one.
Yeah, it's a great
But
one.
some of them I'm like, "God, I don't want to watch this one. I don't like the guest maybe, you
Yeah.
know. Like the Danny Jones guy, like Mark Gagnon, like that little kind of like new wave of like conspiracy and stuff like that. Like I think that stuff's cool. I like watching it. You know, I know Rogan kind of opened the door for all of that, you know, but the kind of these new age guys are kind of keeping with that, and they're keeping it very general, you know, but they're very intelligent. I like the way they ask their questions, and you do a good job also, dude.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, like I like the way they ask their questions, and they ask like they really try to get to the core, which is important. Like
Yeah.
they care about what it is they're asking. They're not just asking for the sake of asking. Kind of going back to what we just talked about. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you?
Find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. I also volunteer with vetsintech. It's a local Philly chapter that I volunteer with. So you can look up like vetsintech.com or .co or whatever it is. But Google it, you'll find it.
Mhm.
I'm a chapter leader of the local Philly chapter. So I help veterans transition into technology. It doesn't necessarily have to be software engineering, computer engineering, or anything like that. It could be, I want to be a project manager. I want to be in finance, but at a tech company, right? Like it could be something like that. Veterans, military spouses, we help them out. We help them just network. We help them maybe introduce them to a potential job. I've helped a couple already kind of connect to get jobs. So yeah, we're big on that.
Yeah. And I think we've illustrated this a few times on a lot of these podcasts. It's just how many things there are out there for you. So here's another great option. Actually, I went to just my first couple actually just what was that, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. I mean, the people you meet, just that alone, honestly, is to me worth it in so many ways. You know, I met you just like 2 weeks ago,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool how you can get in front of these communities and find that, oh yeah, I have actually a lot in common with some of these people that I meet, and maybe I'm not so alone in my plight. Anyhow, thank you. I appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, dude.
y'all know the drill. Like, subscribe. Please drop any comments below. We'd love to hear your feedback, and we would love to hear if you have anyone else that you think should be on the show or any questions that you think we should ask. Till next time, we'll see you then.